All right, hey Brad, it's Halleck. I'm going to show you a demo for the head. I do want to do the front of the head too, but you know what? I'm going to start with the back, side. So you just have them do a circle, and then this arc is the arc of our face. There's an arc to it right there, just like that. And then remember, there's that center line of the circle, and then there's the middle line of the circle. Um, you could actually, I realize I normally do the cross first, and then I do the arc. Doesn't matter. And then the jaw is going to start right there. You just need a curve, and then it's going to be the chin. The middle line is the eyebrow ridge, basically the bone of the skull, right? The eyebrow ridge. It's the where the bone's going to be. So we tend to have the nose coming down just a little bit further down, and then just align with the point here. Let's do something like that. Might look a little big for now, but everybody's a little different. But no, we do need that space. So yep. And then the neck is going to just tuck in. It's a cylinder that tucks in like this, right? It's a cylinder, just like that. Now the bottom here, there is some flesh that connects to the neck, just like this. Okay, so this is the underside of our chin, if you can imagine that. That's the underside of our chin. It wouldn't be paper flat. But this is not a line that you want to do too strongly. This is something more in the painting phase of the finalization. Not finalization, but just something to keep in mind. But it's a subtle line, not a strong line. And then we have the mouth. So I would, the mouth has some curvature to it, but it doesn't have to be a crazy curvature. Um, I would draw the middle of the mouth first. So where the opening of the mouth is, if it were shut, there tends to be a curvature coming out and then goes in, and then you have kind of a triangle shape right here up for the upper lip. Lower lip's going to come down, also a triangle shape, something like that, polygon, whatever you want to call it. Chin tends to go in right here and then out right here and then in again right here. That's the kind of the sculpting of the chin. It goes in, out, in again. Eyes tend to be right here. Also a triangle from this view and a curvature for the eyeball. Always imagine the eyeball inside even without seeing it. Okay, so that's the side view. You're also going to have the shoulders. It's going to be at a curvature like this that connect to the chest. So remember, don't make this too long. And back also, yeah, something like that. So that's the side view. Let's do a front view. Um, there's always a taper after the sphere. There's a taper, a straight line in the middle, and then another turning point for the jaw right there. Nose tends to be in the middle of the whole thing. Now, what I did is just a little long. It's kind of too long of a head, so I'm just gonna make it a little wider. So curvature for the side of the jaw, and then nose in the middle. We could probably bring that down a little bit. Maybe it looks a little high, but keep in mind this is the top of the head, so this may not be as high here. I'll do a happy medium there, maybe go here. And then the mouth, I would make a line for the mouth, and then always know where the eye sockets are. Always know where the pockets are for the eye sockets, right? So the hollow areas. And then you have the structure of the cheek coming right here, and that takes us down to here. You can imagine the skull, right? The skull is doing something like this. It's doing something like this, right? And then there's a jawbone that's doing this underneath. We don't need to draw that obviously, but that's what's creating these plane changes. Um, and then of course there's these dips, but you don't see that unless the person's very skinny. Um, However, always think of the face as a rectangle. You see it more of a rectangle. These two plane changes need to be pretty clear. I would make them clear in the drawing. Just flatten that chin there. Um, Eyebrows. So if I made a flat line there, we could say the eyebrows are up here. That is a little high for this one, probably because I drew the face a little long this time. I would, if I were to start over, I could have maybe stopped the chin right there. Um, so in this case, I'm going to say that the sphere is this big. So in this case, the center, I would say, is where the eyebrows are, the eyebrow ridge is. Eyebrows tend to have a turning point right here, turning point right here. It's sharper, thicker in the middle, sharper in the back. This turning point is also the turning point of the whole plane change of the head. So this is the side of the face, wrapping around the eye socket, side of the face. Again, it's a rectangle. Nose ridge. You can imagine if it was a skull, this would be hollow here, but obviously we don't see that. However, we do see a bump right here. We tend to, just a little bit. And then the kind of the bulk of the nose is right here. And then you need plane change here. So you have underside of the nose, nostril, nostril. This is the underside of the nose. You need two lines. So one for the top side, one for the underside of the nose turning point, and it goes into the nostrils as well. This is the underside of the nostrils. So please remember those plane changes. This is dipping inwards. I'm going to curve my pen like this to show that it is curving inwards, it is digging into the eye socket there. Now, there's the bone is going to be something like this. It is round, right? It is round. If somebody was older, you would see that. That's something I like to tell people is if this person was old, then you would definitely see it. If they're young, then just know that it's there and work around it. Um, eyeballs, eyes are going to have three sections. One, two, three. Tear duct on the inside. One, two, three. Less of an angle on the bottom side, but still the three sections. You can imagine it wrapping around the ball, the eyeball, right? Okay, upper eyelid as well. One, two, three. Do not intersect. Do not touch the inner lines for the eyelids. Okay, same thing on this side. One, two, three. One, two, three. Tear duct right there. Eyelids. That might be a little tall, maybe for a female that might work. Um, everybody's just kind of a different version of this. So you're going to have some shading right here. You're going to have some shading right here. The darkest area of the face tends to be right in there, or at least I guess for a Westerner, a more Western face, it's dug in a little deeper right there, less deep for Asian faces, and I think Latin is like in the middle, and so on. Eyeball. Remember to zoom out a bit for the eyeball. Um, do not have the whole eyeball show. Let it overlap in the eyelids. Keep it round. Small highlight for the eyeball, and then do the iris. Let me save this before I crash and lose everything. Okay. And let's go in a little more detail than you need, but um, that way you have kind of the whole shebang in one piece here. Almost there. Lips, you have kind of the V shape here, and then goes down, and then you have another V shape, a U shape right here. So it's three sections, right? One, two, three. Those are the three muscles. Okay. Oh, let me do that. The three muscles of the upper lip, and then lower lip is two muscles. Okay, you actually do have a cut right there, the Angelina Jolie lip right there, but obviously not that prominent in everybody. But there is there does tend to be a fold right there. So long as you know that there are two muscles, it's going to help with everything else. This is going to go in. The mouth muscle is a circle. Imagine a donut around the whole thing. It's going to go in, and then you got the chin right here, and then a lower turning point of the chin. We sometimes see, especially if they're a little fatter, you're going to see the lower side just a little bit. Again, this is a lighter. This is not a prominent line. I want to make it that a little lighter of a line. This one a little stronger. Um, Okay, so this is going inwards. So you'll know you need to shade this. This is always also going inwards. So you'll need to have the students shade this going inwards to check out the direction of the perspective lines. Um, keep it bright up here. Keep it bright right here. You can maybe shade a little bit here, but that's about it. Hairline is going to be something like right here, and then it's going to come down and follow the. Going to get a little bit of the here. Let me simplify that. Kind of a sideburn there, down. So it follows the turning point of the head, the change of plane of the head. Ears, you know where that they are. Um, for the ears, the most important thing to do is the upper flap and then the side flap. Start with that. Tends to be a turning point right there, and a turning point right there. Top side is a little more curved, and then upper flap of the ear, kind of like a ceiling, like a roof, and then the side flap. You have a little the triangle piece right here, and then we have the C shape. Some people call it the macaroni. Just do a little dip right there. That's about it. All right. Change of angle for the earlobe sometimes. Okay. And when you're shading, just make sure the upper eyelid is a little bit darker because of shadow. Upper eyelid just a little bit darker because of shadow. And then remember to tell the students to give volume for the hair. Let it be here. I'll make a comment here. Let the top of the hair be up there, right? So if if it's something like this, just make sure that it goes beyond, well beyond the top of the skull. Can't just be paper thin on the skull, right? Let's say it's a little long, I don't know, slightly longer hair for a guy. Okay, and then so, right, for the irises, real simple, just whatever you color, just make it a little darker on the top side. Make sure the iris is black, but have a gradient. Imagine a little bit of shadow cast by the upper eyelid, so a little darker on the top side and just lighter as it comes down. You'll do that in the final painting, etc. If this person was older, the wrinkles would come out right here, right? Got eye bags coming in right here. So there's two eye bags are two layers. This right here is a muscle. This right here is a muscle. There's another muscle right here. Just keep that in mind when you're painting. That's what creates the smile lines. So you can imagine something like that. So it creates the smile lines. All right. I think that's about it. Adam's apple right there. Sternomastoid lines right there. Collarbone right there. For females, you like to put something like that. Tends to look a little better. Okay. Um, let me show you the 3D view real quick. Okay, let me show you the 3D view. Let me put this guy on a different plane. All right, 3D view. So going, align with this. Imagine a ball. It's easier to draw a little faster to get a smoother curve, even if it means redoing. I'd rather just make the line a little faster to get the right curve. Imagine a ball, and this is the center of the ball. That's the vertical center. The other is horizontal. So that's equivalent to the vertical and horizontal here. And then, so one line will come down for the center of the face. Another line will come down for the side of the face. That's right. Another you need to know the other middle of the side of the face. That's this axis right here, the same as the vertical right here. Middle of the side of the face, that is where the jaw is going to connect. So remember, think about big picture first. We're going to do a turn and then something like this. Okay, again, I tend to draw this face a little long, so I'm going to either redo or I'm just going to cheat a little bit right there by squeezing it. Power of Photoshop. So maybe I should say, make a point is the lower side is not as long as the top side. The lower side is not as long as the cranium where the brain is. This is a little longer, this is a little shorter. Okay, I'm going to clean this up just a tiny bit. Everything should align in the angle. So the curvature, the alignment of the nose is going to be at this angle now. Everything is at this angle now. The mouth alignment is at this angle. The shading and the structure of the chin is at this angle now. The kind of blocky nose, it needs to come out and protrude way out of that, the baseline of the nose. Remember that, it needs to protrude way out of the baseline of the nose. Otherwise, it won't feel like it's sticking out. Okay, just do a little parentheses, called the parentheses. Heck. So I'll do it again. It's right here, kind of a parentheses, right? Right there, and that's going to be the nostril. And then here, eventually, you'll want to smooth that out. It's going to be, you'll have muscle there, you'll have a bump right there, etc. But you start out with that triangle, and then it's going to go in a little bit. It has to go in a little bit. Everyone's a little different, but it tends to go, dip. I mean, this little curve right there tends to go a little in, and then we're talking about our eye sockets now. So this being the side of the face. We're going to do our eye sockets. The eye socket cannot go out here. A lot of times the eye sockets or the eyes go way out here. It just doesn't make sense. So think about aviator glasses for the eye sockets. Smile line, just like I said before. Now the cheek. Okay, so you have the eyebrow ridge. Eyebrow ridge is up here, so you're going to go out a little bit. And the cheek is going to be something like that. Depending on how fat the person is, you're going to get a little, it'll determine where that, how round that cheek line is. Now let's say it's like that. Um, this is still the lower side of the chin. This is the upper side of the chin, so you can imagine the underside of the chin or starting to turn right here. Okay, and then we have the upper lip. Also remember the axis, okay, and also remember the curvature. It is a bump. The mouth muscle is a bump. There needs to be a curvature here. So even though there's a dip right here, and then you're gonna go in the three muscle groups on the upper lip. See what I just did? You got the three muscle groups, 1, 2, 3, but this time it's at a perspective, so you have to do this one just a bit shorter. This muscle has to be a lot shorter, squeezed. And then here, 3 sections on the lower side, you have that, right, you got that center part right there. Okay, so any shading needs to go in here, needs to go a little darker right there, and then it brightens right here and then darkens again right there, like the pattern. All right, this is the jaw. Cheekbone, I would just do a little bit of something right there. You can imagine a tubular shape for the cheekbone, but depending on how fat or skinny that person is, will determine how you draw that. There's a muscle right here. There could be when somebody has a dimple, it tends to be out here. So it's actually two dimples. This tends to be not as strong depending on the person. This one, but it is there. So there is a piece of muscle right here. Okay, don't forget that. There's a piece of muscle right here. This is also a piece of muscle right here. It's a donut shape of the mouth. All right, these are all muscles there. So keep that in mind. And then you have the neck. Just bring it down. Bring it down. Three-dimensional shape for the neck. Okay, there it is. Eyes. Do something quick for the eyes. 3 tear ducts. 3 lines for the eyes. Tear duct. Just remember it's in perspective, so this line is much steeper than before. And shorter, yeah, just steeper, maybe not shorter. Eye bags, and then you have that muscle here. Eye bags and muscle. So you have a little bit of an indent right there. You don't need to go too crazy with it, just a little bit. A little bit of indent right there. So remember there's a muscle right here. Okay. Um, Upper eyelid's already pretty much made. It tucks into the eye socket. Just remember it's much steeper here, much steeper on the sides now. Um, and we tend to see a little bit of eyelash from this perspective. Eyelashes tend to be thicker on the corners. This is not that long normally. And then the eyeballs also do not exceed the height of the whole opening. Okay, hairline is out here. I would do something that comes down and then in and down again, and that leads us to the ear. Ears can be something like this. Remember, it aligns with the base of the nose. Aligns with the base of the nose. Can be something right there. And so you're gonna have that upper flap, just like before, and then the lower flap. That's the most important part. Show like it's like an ear, and then you have the C shape on the called the macaroni, and then you have the triangle right here that connects with the top, and then a little dip right there. Earlobe, I would just give it a little something right there. Okay, this might have been a little thick. Um, so hairline being up here, yeah, then the hair, make sure there's some volume. Whenever you're doing the hair, make sure you have a little volume. Darkest parts right in here, you're going to be shading these areas, and basically most types of lighting. You can imagine the plane changes happening if you were to sculpt, right? If the light coming from the right side. Plane change right here, actually on the lip. And also right here, there's a disconnect. So you do not go all the way up. You stop it here. You'll notice we lack the lip color and skin color gets obscured right here. Different types of tissue. I can make this a little rounder. And then you have the core shadow right here, goes in, and then you would see some kind of lower side of the nose there. Um, Depending on the person, you might have a indent here or not. And then a little bit of shading for this muscle right here. So essentially there's a muscle like that, and then the cheek muscles go like that. So there's a little bit of indent right there. Even, yeah, depending on how old they are or how stressed out they are, eye bag's gonna appear there. All right. Remember to always shade the lower side of the neck. I'm not doing that here because we're drawing in by sketch. But this side should always be shaded. You can imagine light tends to come from the top. So whatever the students are doing, just make sure that's a basic thing to have. All right, I'll send this to you. Hope this helps. You do the hair come out. Yeah, depending on what the hair is like. Okay, I'll yeah, let me know if you have any questions. All right, see ya. Bye.